The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us, and we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say with the chest that Columbus lied, but also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, with a P. This week stands for
Paranderos, man.
Alegria, alegria.
As an old Rio Manzanares guy myself, though.
I don't know the rest of the words, though. What are those? Alegria, alegria.
Rio Manzanares, déjame pasar. Something. But considering how much Spanish I'm doing, I should probably take a look at these things now and see what
That would be helpful for your conjugation and translation and stuff like that.
Yeah, let me see what I've been doing too.
One, I feel either the last or the second to last episode, we will take the words of our parent. And let Ricardo translate it for us. So tell us the story in English.
You know what you're getting at, Aaron? That I could comfortably do. I've gotten to the point where, depending on what I'm watching, even if I just listening to it from in the kitchen and stuff, I could still tell what's going on in the show. So
serious?
Yeah.
So you're watching Telemundo and thing now?
You know, that's not a bad idea. The device that allows me to watch.
Watch out! This man was getting me in trouble here now.
I have a plethora of channels available to me, so maybe I should really start looking at some of the international channels.
Because you have cable, that's why.
I have cable.
You have cable, and in Trinidad and Tobago, for some reason, a lot of the channels are bilingual now. You have the option to choose in Spanish or English. So maybe sometimes you put on shows because we have a lot of movie channels, and maybe that channel is in Spanish, and that's how it is get to hear the Spanish.
¿Sabes qué? Yo puedo elegir un canal español o inglés if I feel like it. What I just said was, you know what? I could choose a channel, a Spanish or English channel if I feel like it. Although I said if I feel like it in English. I just threw it out there. In case anybody thought that they start to understand Spanish spontaneously. Yeah. Inmediatamente.
If you didn't know, this is The Living Room on the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM. The voices you're hearing are yours truly, DJ Aaron868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code. And I sit here alongside my bro with no fro, a lot of flow, always on the know and in the go.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the global stage.
It's a good thing I didn't realize I messed that up, so that's good. A real bear is Ricardo. Working back that ninja bear phase in life.
Yeah, almost bear my bear ears, all kind of thing too. Big up Finer Details. This is still one of the most awesome gifts I've ever gotten. And she has been an inspiration in terms of just like packaging and presentation and layout and things. So big up Rhonda, big up you Rhonda.
Something I wanted to talk about really quickly before we get on into whatever it is we choose to discuss today. When I say gap,
I had a pop in that era. Let me be real, right? In the living room, we don't talk about anything quickly. we don't talk about anything quickly. Right? Okay. I know who your mama guy.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead. As you were, sir. actively listening.
So it isn't something I want to talk about. It's a question I want to ask. As a big man, Cardo, when last you got a party bag, right?
You know what, Aaron? You, sir, have managed to land on one of the single biggest areas of irk that I have experienced this year. Right? I have been pretty upset about the fact that as an adult, I am not entitled to a party bag.
You go in the wrong parties.
Well, I'm not going to any parties, which might have something to do with it. Right? The fact that I also don't have kids attending parties might also be a contributing factor. Right? What I'm saying is that I have not been even offered a party bag in years. I mean, back in the day when I used to hit my little juve and them kind of things, I used to get my party bag. With my
not that kind of party bag I'm talking about, but yeah.
Right, but what I mean is, my grandmother was Baptist, right?
Daddy bag you pay for when you play in juve.
Right?
So
not the one
it's
that
not
you
party
get.
bag. Yeah.
Right? You know what, you're right. My grandmother was a Baptist. So you know what I know about? And I actually spoke about this yesterday. Big up church people. I used to reach the Thanksgiving when the sweet bread,
for the brown bag.
The sweet bread was fresh and warm in the bag. And by the time the Thanksgiving finished, the sweet bread dry, cool, and it have ants. I just saying, a Baptist Thanksgiving used to run low.
Right. Yeah.
But what I mean is, I don't want a little snack bag. I don't want. No. Okay. My brethren, big up Chip. His son Ethan had a birthday party. I think it was either last year or the year before, and they sent a party bag for me. So I got my little Roblox handband.
So that's about 2 years ago was the last party bag.
Right, but it was the only one in maybe a decade or more. Mm-hmm. And I am irked, Aaron. I am irked. Right, and you know what? P is for party bag this week. P is for the pain of not even being considered party bagly. I'm sorry, I didn't realize this.
I didn't know this was such a touchy topic, honestly.
I didn't know I had all that to unpack.
I didn't think this was such a touchy topic, and I do apologize for that.
No, you know what? I thank you for the space to explore this era, to unpack it.
Not a problem. That's what I'm here for most times.
What I will do, though, is ask where that came from.
Now, where it came from a place that this weekend I was honored to be the DJ for a 50th wedding anniversary. Right? These people married longer than either of us has been alive.
Way.
And usually, most times when I do jobs, the most I might get, other than my pay, is a plate of food.
Right.
But those persons on Saturday treated me like family.
Were they family, Aaron?
No, they weren't.
Okay, all right. Well, then, go ahead.
And I went home with a party bag. Now, I'll admit, when I get most things, like I say, I get a plate of food, I just immediately get home and put it in the fridge. And yesterday, when I got home from work, I opened the party bag and I see all the sweets and everything in it. And I was like, it rekindled that childhood feeling of joy, remembering the occasion that was celebrated when I reopened the party bag.
All right.
And why I ask that question is just for us to really take a second and treasure those gifts that you may get after attending a function. That award you might get in your long service on work. The plate of food you might get when your neighbor have a line and they see you outside and they give you some food. Or your neighbor make doubles and say, hey, look one.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to tell you. Big up you, neighbor.
Right? But it was just to ask the question, to put forward the memory and that moment of acceptance, that moment of gratitude for the little acts that people sometimes do when they are celebrating and they just include you.
Yeah, two things happened while you were speaking. One, I realized a virgin of mine, of ours actually, was in the country last week, and he asked me if I had any time, and I told him, yeah, we would link up, and I just realized that was
last week.
So he gone back.
Oh.
Yeah, that that sucks. And he would have been an awesome guest too. I don't know if he tell anybody who was down here, so I want to call his name, but brother, consider this an apology. He's a very regular listener.
I think I forgot what it is.
Yeah, oh boy, yeah.
Shame on you, Carlo.
Shame. You
gotta ring that bell like Game of Thrones.
Bang, 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 bang. And second thing is that I got this lovely portrait as a token for having hosted a fundraiser for Holy Faith Convent Penal several years ago. This would have been pre-pandemic. Yeah, and it's a astonishing likeness, right? But it's also an indicator how long I have these glasses doing, because that's actually the pair that I'm in the process of replacing. And I got that months afterwards. I think I got it just before Christmas of the year, and I was in shock. I wasn't expecting a token of appreciation that I would have paid considerable money for. Big up Kyra Gill as an artist, lovely talent, and to Penal Convent for fostering such an appreciative clientele, if you know what I mean. It's like the people who think about you as more than just a vendor or a service provider. So you know what, Aaron? Well done. It does feel pretty good to be appreciated for doing your work or showing up.
Right, and with that being said, we didn't get time to really touch on it last week, but since it's you and I alone this week, WAC would have celebrated a 20-year anniversary through a brunch where they would have celebrated members of staff for long service.
Yeah.
And to know that WAC has been in existence for 20 years, and at least 3 or 4 of the members of staff have been there for 20 years and more. It shows a level of commitment to the people. Just like how we committed to the culture, we also committed to the people. And I just wanted to take a moment to recognize the fact that WAC turned 20.
Yeah, babe.
Which is a huge achievement.
WAC could be able to drink in any country just now, you know.
Well, that's probably what Kenny doing now.
To Kenny close? Hey, listen, I'm so mad I didn't take a picture.
Miss Phillips or caption or Kenny, when them pictures coming out, boy, so we could. Yeah.
Hey.
Right. Also, and secondly, to acknowledge the fact that persons like Damien, Caption, Kizzy, Alpha B, and Richard C have been there, if not from day one. I think the first 3 names have been there from day one, but the second 2 for the greatest 6 hours on radio on a Sunday have been there long time, longer than long pants. Right? So Kes said it in one of his songs that we sitting on something that is worth more than oil and gold. And he's talking about our culture. And WAC is the only 100% culture station. So let's support how we can. Single pan finals.
Grammatically, I am compelled to point out that we are the only 100% total local culture station.
Thank you very much.
Right, because the music that a lot of other stations are playing are cultures. They're just not ours.
Correct, is right.
So let me not lose the emphasis of it being ours. We thing.
And stick a pin in that,
so you repin?
Yes, no, stick a pin, because here now.
I pin first and then you pin.
So that's I say.
That's safety pin.
Yeah. But it's circle.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, right.
Yeah.
With that being said, support WAC how you can. Single pan finals. The first panorama finals is actually on Saturday at the Queen's Park Savannah. So if you can't make it to the Queen's Park Savannah to physically be there, you can purchase the pay-per-view on WAC 90.1 FM. Right, check out the website for that. Right, as you say, the thing that is be playing sometimes is now we thing. So it's a culture, but it's not we culture.
Yeah.
I really wanted, we haven't done a show like this where we spoke of current events in a while. Maybe the current events have been caught up in renovation works on the highway that's supposed to finish by December 2024. Oh shucks, we in December 2024 and it looks nowhere close to complete. But anywho, I digress. That certain artists have been banned again from performing in other Caribbean islands. And
What?
the artists that I'm speaking about are the artists that singing that Trinidad genre of music. Right? Now, every type of music has a time and place. But for me, we are realizing more and more that other countries are realizing that that music is not welcome anytime or any place there. I am not saying do sing badness or whatever there's one to say, because again, when we were growing up, Cardo, we knew certain songs had that kind of message.
Listening.
But it was a little more lyrically skilled back then.
Really?
Yeah, some of it was a little more lyrically skilled.
Yeah, like Ram Ram.
I can't tell that joke on air.
Yeah. And all virgin put up your hand.
Yeah.
But she's just 16 years old.
Yeah.
And it sound. Yeah. What was the next one? Girl Flex. Yeah, you're right. Bedwalk Sensation. You're right, Aaron. There was quite a bit of entendre and poetic disguise. Yeah. I hear you. I listening. I hear you. But you know what, Aaron? Every generation criticizes the music of the generation that comes after. Right? Rock and roll was frowned upon. Death metal and them kind of things were banned. Rap was actually responsible for music being rated at all. The ESRB ratings in the States came about because a lot of the music that was coming out of New York and California were anti-establishment, and while they were expressive of realities, they were also they blatantly disregarded what were the common rules, the common concepts of social grace. The language that would have been used, the times. Even the other day, you were making a joke about some line I was tiptoeing along, and you pointed out that it was barely after 6 p.m. Right? The ideas of certain types of music and conversations being played and held at certain hours is not applicable on any of our bandwidths, any of our platforms or frequencies. Right? There was a point in time that you might not even see two people kissing on TV until after 9 o'clock. Right? Those things don't happen anymore. Right? I have no problems with countries doing what it takes as best as they can to safeguard the eyes and ears of their youth,
of their populace.
Of the population, and also by taking a stand, definitive or impotent or not, against this music. At least they're not endorsing and encouraging it and saying, well, freedom of speech, do what you want, have a time, and then quarreling about the consequences. Yeah, I get it, right? While we will critique what comes next, because it will erode our sense of social fabric, a lot of the times it helps establish new social fabrics. The question remains, is the new fabric that is being established of any quality, of any real meaningful worth? Does it contribute to the building of a society, or is this fabric that is being woven by these new art forms and expressions, is it really, are we weaving our own bondage? There was and this is a sorry for the monologue, Ole, bear with me. I will pass it back to you just now, Aaron, but there was a conversation I had with a taxi driver, and he mentioned that he DJ'd as well. And the thing was that whilst there was music that was counterculture and a bit abrasive in terms of rubbing against the social fabrics, there was balance. Now, while we acknowledge that the internet has made music available and the creation of music and every art form available to the general public, it has removed the gatekeepers and the stewards and the guardians and those who would say that this quality or this content is not fit for consumption.
I remember, as you say that with the gatekeepers, I remember when I was about 14 or 15, my aunt she realized I was into music and she purchased 2 cassettes for me as a gift. And I had a Walkman.
Right.
For those who don't know what a Walkman is, just Google it. Right? I had a Walkman. And
a personal cassette player.
Exactly. And a night I decided, you know what? I'm listening to the song on my Walkman. Let me listen to it on the radio in my bedroom. Press play on the cassette. It starts. The kids have theirs. Now you have yours. 3,000. If she doesn't know about that, she's anyway. And then about 15 seconds into the cassette, you started to hear some explicits. My aunt was nowhere near my room at that point in time. I don't know how she hear it. I don't know if she had a microphone in my room. I don't know. But the speed at which my aunt got into that room, pressed stop and took that cassette out of the player, showed me the gravity of how important it was to control what I listened to at that tender age. I never saw that Wyclef Jean cassette again.
Right. That was some Carnival or the score?
I think it was the score.
Yeah.
Right? Now, jump forward to today, and I hear my little cousins listening to certain types of music around their parents, and I just be like, that's cool out. So anything just goes. And they'll be like, if basically he don't listen to it here, he could go elsewhere because he had the access to it regardless. So with the advent of technology and the access to information being granted to all, it really did remove the gatekeepers. But what it also removed was a sense of fear that my mother might catch me listening to this.
I can't blame technology for that.
Serious? We'll say to that.
You know what you could do as a parent? Have a conversation and apply some sense of boundary and consequence. And the reason I'm saying that is that, yes, I know you could make sure and you can't make the mind.
Right.
However, if you're going to be playing that hot garbage juice in my house, have some respect for the people living here and for your neighbors and play it at a volume that does not.
Or
now again, I want you plugging it in your ears and jamming that at hard volumes. I get it. But what I'm saying is, you recognize that whilst you might have the right, you also have a responsibility to the people around you.
Correct is right.
And if you're playing your music loud at a certain hour, even if it's clean music, turn it down.
Turn it down.
If you're playing a song and you realize there's language or content that is explicit, turn it down. Right? So I'm not saying that you have to stop people from making their choices. I think we have to teach people that there's responsibility in making them.
And consequences.
I mean, consequence mean I might frisbee a thing across the road, you know. I old school, you know. I know about thing getting pelted in the road.
And you know the sad part? You know the sad part in it? I remember I can't remember what year that concert would have been when the late DMX would have come to Trinidad and Tobago. And he was locked up for cursing on stage at an event. Now, and I grew up in the era of playing music where playing uncensored music was for home.
Right.
Once you go out in public to play, it have to be clean music. Now I go to events and I hear uncensored music playing normal, and the police stand up in a corner. Like, what we gonna do?
I mean, What are going to do?
What are going to do?
Right. Arrest you, warn you twice, and then shut down the party, and then what? Make a headline, right? It's like what you really gonna do? You gotta look at people who play music and start the whole while they find a real work to do. You know how much fight that party had. 2 people can't get breaking and they're studying to stop people who played music.
Yeah, it is really a touchy spot for the police to be in there. But I wasn't looking at it from just the police aspect, but from that personal responsibility aspect as well. You're going out in public, play clean music. I remember a policewoman stopped me at a party in Point, how much ever years ago. I played a popular R&B song that had some obscenities in the chorus, and I played the clean version. And the crowd sang the chorus.
Right.
And the policewoman, when I finished my set, she was like, "Don't ever play that song again because you're inciting people to curse in public." And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I think I never played that song again up to today.
Again, people have rights, but we have responsibilities too.
Yeah. But the music topic is one that will go on and on and on and on. It's time, right? It's just going on. It'll never end. And it's about responsibility. What happened, Ricardo? That smile saying something.
Yeah, that smile saying, anyway, you know what? Let me just say it. Might as well say it. One of my concerns as a young man growing up was that I have tendencies to the draconian. Right? In terms of the type of leader that I will be, I recognize that if you, Aaron, you pull into a car park, right? And there are 2 open spots. 1 open spot, you'll have no problem taking the spot that you get, right?
Yeah.
In fact, you'll be grateful for having gotten a spot. If you go into a car park and you have a choice of parks available, it have 4 cars in a 179 car park. You're going to waste a lot of your time trying to decide which is the best park to take.
Which one closest to where you're going? Right.
If it's the closest, if you're on the end because you don't want nobody opening no door on your car, right? If it's if it's on a street light, if it's on a light pole, even if it's not the closest, if you can see it from inside, you'll start adding conditions to your choice.
Right.
One of my things is that as people, as a species, one of the reasons that we have we indulge as irresponsibly as we do is because we have the option of indulgence. Sometimes you take away the choice from somebody when they can't prove to manage that choice socially responsibly. And the premise exists is why prisons exist and that type of thing. You remove the element that corrupts and contaminates society from society. Right? We know that sometimes they have to take people's choices away. But that is a very, very dangerous principle upon which to start building something. Correct. It is a very dangerous principle under which one enters leadership and that type of thing. So what I'm saying is I get that one of the reasons things are the way that they are is because we as people have too many choices. When we only had TTT, you know what we watched? Calabash Ali. No Boundaries, right? News, an Indian movie on a Sunday
evening,
a Western when the time come. What I mean is we Men of Grey and Flight of the Ibis and them kinds of things, right?
You can watch that Men of Grey, you know?
Yeah, if you could find it, right? When cable TV come in and internet come in and things, people just had so much choice that it just left way much more room for bad decisions. And
you know, if you risk the fear of being draconian, I don't know what I might sound authoritarian here, but I honestly believe that certain things should not be aired, period.
So are you saying that as a media personality that you are in favor of censorship?
Yeah. Because the fact that certain genres of music are played openly on free-to-air radio stations, it normalizes the fact that even if it's good or bad, it's still there. So you know what? I could hear it. But if you have to fight to listen to certain things, it probably loses appeal.
No, I don't think I have any sociological evidence that would suggest that things lose appeal once the difficulty get Aaron.
Actually, no, and I think I understand the sociological part of coming down there, Ricardo.
Yeah, but read Genesis.
Yeah. Oh gosh, man. Right? I understand the sociological part of going on there, but the aspect I'm looking at, if you didn't know it exists, how are you going looking for it?
So you moving from censorship immediately into oppression.
To certain things, some things had to be oppressed. A song in draconian, authoritarian, a song like if as a dictator, all kind of different things all at this moment right now.
Almost Machiavellian, but go ahead, this is me listening.
But what I'm saying is, if you remove some of the rogue elements in terms of the expressions of art, you know, let me shut up.
I'm listening, Aaron.
No. That smirk, honestly.
Kim John Williams, I'm listening.
Art of war, you know.
You go ahead, Vladimir. You go ahead. I am listening.
The art of war, you know, on explicit music.
Sun Tzu. But yeah, have I read it though? Like all
yes, of course, on numerous occasions.
It's fascinating book. I want to get into some Marcus Aurelius something too. You know, he's an one of them generations.
Actually, for Christmas, my reading material is Lara, the England Chronicles.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna get that for Christmas,
but I beat you to it.
Baby. Yeah,
right?
And it autographed too, so I can't even re-gift it.
Exactly.
I will be like, oh my god, I got you a copy too.
I know a Bridget named Ricardo if you want to re-gift it to him.
Do I go down to that? Let me read it yet.
Exactly.
Anyway, this is me actively listening, Mr. Williams.
right. But now, honestly and truthfully,
here it is, a dictator.
We really are.
In my country. Go ahead.
Serious. If I was Prime Minister, I'd ban Trinidad. One of my first moves. The second move is to make WAC probably give WAC 5 different frequencies.
You know, I would have probably I would have make WAC the radio station that is played in schools during lunchtime. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my third move would be a maintenance drive in the country.
I mean a maintenance drivers and them fellows who not minding the children.
No, a maintenance drive in terms of
Fridays and long weekends. Them there's a maintenance drive. all of them men who pay maintenance is only long weekends.
Now, when I say a maintenance drive, so our national monuments, buildings, sporting complexes would be properly taken care of. So we wouldn't have to be having intercol games where presentation is playing Benedict's in Point Fortin or in the National Stadium in Port of Spain.
Benedict's grounds is Point Fortin because of the commons, right? Well, what's going on with the commons? Any other grounds?
Exactly, I don't know. So that's maintenance would be a huge thing because Manny Ramjohn, a great stadium, car park in shambles, you can't go in the covered stands. At a Bolton, the car park is an undulating plane.
No, actually, Manny Ramjohn car park is like an obstacle course.
It reached that now?
It was bad even before.
All right. See,
it made it challenging though.
So a maintenance drive. And then point number 4 will be a reduction of cost overruns on projects and trying to stick to timelines.
But number 4 kind of contributing to number 3 though. So how are you going to do this maintenance drive? Like you're going to hire companies that are capable of maintenance to do these things?
Actually, I'm going to recommission existing resources to do these things.
So you, when you say recommission existing resources?
So like, for example, right? The Ministry of Works and Transport.
Wait, there's a whole ministry dedicated to things like works and transport?
Correct is right. Ranson and as the minister, I think.
Won't they have oversight of doesn't maintenance fall under the types of public works that you're speaking about?
I'm not too sure.
Well,
But
what? Okay,
once I get
listening.
But once I get in there, things like all them rail on the highway and the cable that pulled down and never fixed back. We're going to establish divisions in the ministry. Highway maintenance.
Were you talking about like departments of the ministry that dedicated to maintaining the infrastructure?
Yeah. We're making sure to walk in.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So they actually going to be responsible for it, or they going to be responsible for assigning the tasks to the relevant and technically skilled companies? No, what I want to know is if you're going to have an actual crew.
At least the basic function of maintenance or repair work could be held in-house.
Okay.
If there is to be new infrastructure constructed, however, then we need to follow the OPR process to get somebody to fit the...
Wasn't there like an entire reallocation of resources to fixing potholes once you call and report it?
Guess they probably fell in one of the numerous potholes that we have on the nation's roads.
And are yet to return. Anyway.
Honestly,
I spent 3 bloody hours in traffic last night here and coming on the highway.
He was coming down the highway last night and that?
Yeah. At first, there was what appeared to be a vehicle that stalled.
Mm-hmm.
And it had to be towed. So there was some traffic building up at first. And then having gotten past that and thinking, oh, well, they're already loading that vehicle onto the tow truck. Things should be fine by the time we're coming back down. And the things weren't fine because there was a truck right in the median.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a video of that.
Yeah, and man, it was just terrible. It took 2 hours from Grand Bazaar to, I don't even think we'd reach Chagonas by the second hour.
I honestly saw videos of it. I saw a lot of persons complaining online, persons advising if you had to leave Port of Spain, now is not the time.
No, it wasn't.
So I honestly continue to also look at public transport being a serious sore in our society.
Sure. Public transport?
Yeah.
You don't have a ministry for that, for transport?
I just say works on transport.
Oh, okay. They didn't separate it too?
I don't know. Honestly,
was there a time that separated too?
I think so. And then they merged it back because they realized that too much ministers and all these different things. I don't know if PTSD falls under that, but for me, PTSD should be around the clock service.
You know, we're getting money to run a bus for 3 people. 2:00 in the morning. We're getting money for that.
For me, I am of a belief that if people know that there's a firm alternative, a safe alternative that could take them to and fro, they could use it. They will use it. An alternative that runs on time.
I'm listening, you know. I'm listening. And you know what you're alluding to?
What's that?
There are societies that have successfully implemented these types of arrangements. And in many cases, for them to succeed, they have to at first be enforced.
Right.
Things like bicycle lanes or carpool lanes or restricting single passenger vehicular access to certain areas of the city or the district in certain times and days.
I remember reading about that in economics in Form 4, I think.
Yeah, all I'm saying, and several of those things have worked and several have not. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying though is that regardless of what system you desire to implement, there requires an element of enforcement. There requires a sense of restriction and consequence. People do not intellectually make good decisions. They make emotionally satisfying decisions.
Some years ago, when Zion and Denny was on WAC, right? They used to call me the Black Napoleon.
Wow. Hey, big up Zion.
It
His birthday was last night.
You understand now why they used to call me the Black Napoleon?
Yeah, I get it. Although he wasn't hey, listen, why Aaron? You tell me. Let me not presume. You tell me, Aaron. You tell me.
Why he wasn't Ricardo? Let me hear.
No, I just say that there's a rumor, right? There's a popular misconception that Napoleon was not the most vertically
that had nothing to do. No, that had nothing to do with it.
Oh, so are you French?
That had nothing to do with it either.
So it have nothing to do with the most popular misconception about him. The second one is not about his national identity. Go ahead, Aaron. You tell me why.
We'll just allude to what we spoke about earlier.
Napoleon height myth.
What? Of
What?
all things.
I do. This is me. How tall was Napoleon? The man was 5 feet 6.5 inches.
At my height.
You're 5 6.5, Aaron?
Yeah, on a good day.
I know. No, you know what? Cool. But yeah. So why? Because listen, I understand that good leadership requires both a firm hand and a soft glove. Right? I get it. But we have to recognize that as people left to our own devices, we do not make good decisions.
Because I honestly look at it, and I think I've spoken about this neighbor on numerous occasions. The one who four of them living in the house and have 4 cars.
Right.
Wow. I just took a page out of Impulse book.
No. I not saying anything because you'd have hit me a wow.
There are 4 vehicles. Thank you. Right? And 3 of them working in the same company.
What? No, you're kidding.
No, it's that bad. But everybody drives to work by themselves.
Was that a hyperbolic analogy, Aaron? Or literally 3 people from the same house working in the same company using 3 vehicles?
Yeah, on the same compound.
All of them are taxi drivers. So they're going to work on the Marabella stand, something like that. It can't be that same building.
If not same building, same compound.
Wow. Anyway, go ahead.
And we just spoke about it. It's the emotional thing. I want to be able, if I had to go out for lunch, I could go on my timing.
Nobody can dictate my peace.
Exactly. So, as much as I understand that persons want to move on their own pace, I still believe that given the option of a reliable system to take you to and fro, some persons may be inclined not to drive on a daily basis.
I ain't lying, tell him. I rode a bus several years ago for the first time in a very, very, very long time. And it was quite delightful. It was quite delightful and affordable. And I wondered to myself, why had I not been taking the bus more regularly? I wondered.
Why had you not been taking the bus more regularly?
Because the bus at that point in time was at an hour that was a little ungodly for me.
But I would admit I've seen that change. Because now the system of transit between Port of Spain and San Fernando and vice versa, via the bus, it has more reliable times.
Again, I am an expression of the same issue I have. Because you know what, Aaron? I didn't get up early to take the comfortable, affordable bus that would allow me to sleep, right, on the way down. I did not take, and the bus station was actually closer to work than either the maxi or the taxi drop-off points. When you're young, you're fully dunce, Anyway, no, I'm sorry, I was dunce. I had to be dunce to pay more money to get dropped further away from where I was going to work, right? Because the bus was leaving San Fernando at the time I would probably wake up to get ready to go to work. And because I had a choice, I could have chosen a maxi or a taxi at whatever time I got to the stand. I made a senseless decision.
And this brings me back to the point when the government would have tried to reinforce the speed limit that was 80 kilometers per hour, how much ever years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And persons were saying that real slow, and it could take me longer to move from Port of Spain to Sando to Port of Spain and all these different things. If you drive at 80 kilometers an hour to go 50 kilometers, you're taking less than an hour, right?
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to use a more mathematically impressive example. Go ahead.
I was going to, but after a long day, I'm trying to rest my brain. Come on.
That brain need more rest?
See why it doesn't say nothing, right?
This is me actively listening and providing you feedback.
But anyway, as I was saying, right? So you're leaving home at 6 a.m. There's assuming that have no traffic. Forget the traffic part. Leaving home at 6 a.m. to get to Port of Spain, which is 50 kilometers away. You're driving at 80 kilometers. You're going to take less than an hour. Just about 40 minutes. Right? But that could be too slow. I think I gotta wake up earlier. But again, sometimes that simple shift in lifestyle could be better. Because just like Ricardo say, he wanted to get on the taxi stand at 7:05 to reach the work for 8 o'clock. Whereas the bus was leaving Sando at what? 6:30?
Right. So to travel 50 kilometers at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour would take you 37 minutes and 30 seconds.
So I was just off by 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
It actually have a calculator here, so I'm gonna get a while. All right.
But now the speed limit is 100. How long it'll take you?
30 minutes. 30 minutes. Right. So by traveling 20 kilometers faster,
save you 17 and a half minutes. 7.5 minutes.
7.5 minutes.
Right. But
120 kilometers per hour, which is over the speed limit, it saves you 5 more minutes.
Right. Now, the point I was alluding to is that simple shift in lifestyle, right? That's 7.5 minutes. It's 7.5 minutes you could have spent home with your family. Saying goodbye to your kids before you send them off to school. Or saying a prayer with your kids before you send them off to start their day.
So you're advocating saving time by driving faster and spending it with your family?
No, brother, man. No, I never. Oh gosh, boy.
I'm trying to follow you, Aaron.
I'm saying is, the speed limit was 80.
You're
right? But we were so caught up on the fact that they wanted to enforce what was already in place that we're saying it too slow. So wake up a little bit earlier and leave home a little bit earlier.
Well, that sounds very privileged, Aaron. Just wake up earlier. Just wake up earlier and leave home earlier. Just do it. What keeping you from doing it? Why not?
What keeping you from doing 40 push-ups a day, Ricardo?
Having to edit out some of the nonsense you just be saying and doing in the middle of the episode. And then I tell you, Aaron, let me tell you, you know how much more we do with less choice? I know it happened to people raising an eyebrow now and thinking, wait, this is not going to this is not going to age well. It's not going to age well, right? And however long when I ask me to run for our office or they suggest that I go up for something, but it might not age well. But you know how much more we would do with less choice? Like, it is sad that this is a state that we've gotten to, that we cannot manage right with enough responsibility that it remains a choice.
You know what? I'll bring it even closer to home here.
Bring it, Aaron.
When you're going out, you're hungry, right?
Gas
in your belly.
Gas.
And you decide to go in a food court in a mall.
Boy.
As opposed to if you just walk in the roti shop. You know how much faster your hunger will be attended to with one option as opposed to a plethora of options in a food court?
I like how you use plethora as well. I like how you use it.
Thank
You
you.
miss an opportunity to say myriad. What I would point out,
that was my second go-to.
what I would point out, Mr. Williams, right, is that when one, pardon me, I'm by no means with reference to race, making racist statements. What I'm saying is that if you go into a roti shop and you have 6 options, you order considerably quicker than you go into a Chinese restaurant where you have 80 items on the menu, and you spend time, right? And you spend time imagining what it would be like to try one of these new things, right? And then end up settling on your
usual daily special
chicken lunch, right? You're gonna spend all that time wondering, wait, I should really try one of them tofu soup, or maybe should I try the wontons? You know what, sweet and sour, maybe the butter fried, maybe the pepper. Let me get a chicken special, medium or large.
You know what's the sad part here? I think sometime ago I mentioned it as a regular breakfast buyer.
Yeah, right. You say you had a breakfast buy and finish.
Right. Now when I go to purchase breakfast in the morning, the woman asks me veggie or tuna off the bat.
Right. Because
those are the 2 things that I always buy. And they decide to mix it up and do a chicken sandwich. She's like, everything okay?
Who you buying lunch for? No,
who are buying breakfast for? And that's the thing. For me, I don't like, if I go to buy Chinese and I see 100 things on the menu, let me get a dozen steamed chicken wontons and a quarter a roast pork or a quarter Chinese style chicken. Keeping it simple.
The psychology behind choice is one of the most fascinating things you'll ever get into. I'm not saying that lightly. Right? The ability to predict and predetermine choice by controlling the choices available. Let me put it this way. In terms of the advertising and marketing, use the way our minds process choice to decide how to price sizes. Right? How to convince us to buy certain products by pricing the product that they don't want us to buy. Well, this thing is wild, Aaron. So here the catch, right? If you going up to the ATM, you go to buy lunch, you're gonna take out money for lunch, right? You're gonna take out money for lunch. You have $47 in the bank. How much money are you gonna take out?
Have any money in my wallet?
No.
So all right, cool. So more than likely I'll take out 40.
Right. I'm pretty certain about 80% of the people who had to answer that question would have said they'll just take out the 40. Right? If you have $1,070, $1,047 in the bank, right? Like we use the same 47 as you had $1,047 in the bank and you're gonna take out money for lunch. How much money are you gonna take out?
$40.
So you buy the same lunch whether you have or not having?
Yeah, most times.
So what you're telling me is the week after you get paid and the week before you get paid, your spending on food is the same thing.
You see, I have a budget for food for the week.
You have a food budget?
Yeah.
For the week?
Yeah.
Not for the month?
No.
All right, listening.
So, like, for example, if I say I don't go in the grocery for a week, I would have, like, say, $300 to buy food for the week. So I had to find whatever fits within my budget.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's $60 a day, or if it's however I work it, that's where it is, $300.
All right, let me use something that's more applicable to the audience. And by the audience, I mean you, Aaron, for this question, right? Because it's perilously, yeah? All right. You have to buy shades. You have to buy shades. You have to buy shades. You have a gig to go to, you realize you forget shades home, right? Or your shades break. Let me say your shades break. You have to get a shades, right? You have $200 and you have to get shades. How much money are you willing to spend on this shades?
$60.
Right. You have $2,000. How much money are you willing to spend on this shades?
$60.
Because you have a shades budget.
No, because I have a tendency to lose shades or for them to break. So I'm not spending no exorbitant amount of money on shades. If we use this example with shoes, that's a different story.
I was going to go there next if Shades and work out, you know. I was going to go there next if Shades and work out.
And I'm glad you bring this up, right? Now, every year, at least once or twice a year, I clear out my closet, pack clothes to give away and clothes to throw away. Right? I did that exercise last week and ended up with 4 bags of clothes to give away. Varying between new stuff, likely used stuff, and stuff like that, right? This time I added shoes to the mix. I gave away 6 pairs of sneakers. Particularly one that I bought to go to an event and I never wore it again.
Right.
When I cleared up the shoe rack, so I went down from, like, say, 30 pairs, now at 24.
This man, what are you doing with 30 pairs of shoes where you are
You don't worry
centipede?
You don't worry about that.
You're a millipede. What?
You don't worry about that, right?
Yeah, you mix with crabber. What is what you telling me? This man 30 pairs of shoes. Hey, look. Hey, anyway, let me let you finish and let you come off you people on them radio.
Yeah. And the first thought I had when I cleared up that space on the shoe shelf, I said, boy, that means I have room for 4 more pairs. And then I stopped myself. Why do I need 4 more pairs of shoes when I already have 20 pairs that I rotate and then 4 pair of dress shoes? I could only wear 1 pair at a time.
You sure? You sure?
Positive. I used to wear them on my hands and things, but I stopped. Anyhow, but what I'm saying is, I would have spent my money without question on sneakers. Because for some reason, I always find in a sale.
You know, Darren, I hear you. What I saying, you go ahead.
But, and why I always say that is because when I go on websites to buy clothes or whatever the case is, for some reason, the latest sneakers in my style that I like always used to be there. And I know I don't need a shoes, but I'm buying it because it in my face. So the choice of, wait boy, I might need a new headphones, you know, but that sneakers real fresh. You know which one I might buy?
So I suffering to edit these videos and you get buff from Kenny every 3rd Tuesday because you like shoes?
No, better man. Not that kind of headphones. I'm talking about these kind of headphones.
Well, why are you not using those? Why aren't you using those, Aaron?
Because these are DJ headphones.
What did you think you're doing here? What did you think you're doing here?
This is not DJing.
This man had me listening to him on his $7 10-use headphones, and he have good high quality performance. This is why the man does want to make we come in the station. You know what they run? This on you.
He's make us want to come because he miss us.
This one on you. All right. Anyway,
but what I'm saying is, and I'm totally supporting Cardo's point with the choice, that sometimes you just make the bad choices based on the things you like, or the convenience or the lifestyle, and sacrifice the things you should be doing. Go ahead, Cardo.
Well, this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social sage on the global
This man
stage.
signing out early enough.
Thanking you for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good, stay safe, and try to make some good choices. All right. Hey, Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band, and we're gonna hand over to Aaron Millipede Williams.
What?
Yeah, you have to.
That's a millipede.
You're 1,000 feet, Aaron.
This man said millipede Williams.
30 pairs of shoes. 30 pairs of shoes, man. Come on. What the hell is this?
Hey, before we close, I just want to say, yeah, on Friday, head across the C3 Center for the Ministry of Sport and Community Development Christmas Sales Exhibition. It's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
But we didn't start with that.
Because we were talking about choices, so this is a choice you had to make on Friday.
Well played.
Exactly. right? And this is yours truly, Aaron868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code. And I also also tell you that love is the currency. So spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys. Keep it locked to the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM. The big band is up next.
But I have 30 pairs of shoes, you know.